The moment you feel the need to explain yourself to everyone, stop, breathe, look closely at what is happening inside you. In that single moment, your peace is being tested. Someone questioned your choice, someone misunderstood your silence, someone judged your boundary, and suddenly your mind wants to run like a servant to their opinion. It wants to open every door, show every wound, reveal every reason, and prove that your heart is clean. But listen carefully. A person who knows the truth of his path does not bow to every passerby who doubts the road. Most people do not lose their power because the world attacks them. They lose their power because they keep trying to be understood by people who were never willing to listen. They explain once, then twice, then 10 times. They turn their pain into a presentation. They turn their decisions into courtroom evidence. They turn their life into an apology. And every time they do this, something inside becomes smaller. Their voice may become louder, but their spirit becomes weaker. You were not born to spend your life defending your existence. You were not placed on this earth to become a prisoner of other people's interpretations. If someone wants to see you wrongly, they will. If someone wants to twist your words, they can. If someone is committed to believing the smallest version of you, your longest explanation will not make them see your highest self. A closed hand cannot receive water. A closed mind cannot receive truth. This is why silence is not always weakness. Sometimes silence is the highest discipline. It is the moment when the old you wants to react, but the awakened you chooses peace. It is the moment when your ego wants to win, but your wisdom says, no, this battle is too small for the life I am building. It is the moment when you realize that not every fire deserves your water and not every noise deserves your attention. Look at the mountain. The clouds move around it. The wind strikes it. The rain falls upon it. People look at it from different angles and give it different names. Yet the mountain does not explain itself. It does not chase the clouds. It does not argue with the wind. It stands. That is strength, not because it is hard, but because it is rooted. You must become rooted. When you are not rooted, every opinion becomes a storm. One person says you are cold and you panic. One person says you are selfish and you collapse. One person says you changed and you feel guilty for growing. But when you are rooted, criticism can touch your surface without entering your center. You hear it, you examine it, you take what is useful, and you release what is poison. There is a difference between accountability and over-explaining. Accountability is clean. It says, I made a mistake, I see it, I will correct it. Over-explaining is fear. It says, please do not think badly of me, please approve of me, please allow me to feel safe. Accountability strengthens character. Over-explaining weakens identity. One is maturity, the other is captivity. So do not use this teaching to become proud. Do not hide from correction. Do not use silence to avoid responsibility. If you hurt someone, repair it. If you failed in your duty, admit it. If your action created harm, face it with courage. But once you have spoken with honesty, once you have done what is right, once you have acted with integrity, do not keep kneeling before those who only want to see you guilty. Some people do not want clarity. They want control. They ask why, not because they wish to understand, but because they are looking for an opening to argue. You give one reason, they challenge it. You give another, they twist it. You give your heart, they use it as a weapon, and by the end of the conversation, you are no longer discussing truth, you are begging for permission to have a boundary. This is how many people are trapped. They believe kindness means unlimited access. They believe love means endless explanation. They believe peace means pleasing everyone. But peace is not the absence of disagreement. Peace is the presence of inner alignment. Peace is when you can stand in your truth without needing every person to clap for it. The right people will not require you to bleed just to prove that you are wounded. The right people will not make your boundaries feel like crimes. The right people may ask questions, but they will ask with respect. They will listen to understand, not to prepare their next attack. With the right person, one honest sentence is often enough. With the wrong person, even 1,000 sentences become another chain around your heart. This is why you must learn discernment. Do not give the same access to everyone. Your soul is not a public room. Your story is not an open market. Your pain is not entertainment. Your dreams are not for careless hands. Some people deserve your full truth. Some deserve a simple answer. Some deserve distance. And some deserve only your silence. When you stop explaining yourself, you will begin to see people clearly. This is one of the hidden gifts. As long as you keep talking, you cannot see who is listening and who is only waiting to control. But when you become still, their nature appears. Some will respect your quiet, some will become angry, some will try to provoke you, some will invent stories, some will leave. Let them reveal themselves. Silence is a mirror. It shows you who people are when they can no longer feed on your reaction. Do not be afraid of being misunderstood. This fear has stolen more dreams than failure ever has. Many people choose a small life because they cannot tolerate being judged. They stay in wrong places because they do not want to explain leaving. They keep answering messages because they do not want to seem rude. They keep saying yes because they fear being called selfish. Slowly their life becomes a cage built from other people's feelings. But your life is not meant to be lived as a constant apology. Your peace is not something you must submit for public approval. Your growth is not a group project. Your healing does not need a committee. Your direction does not need the agreement of those who never carried your burden. Sometimes people say, "You have changed," as if change is a crime. But ask yourself, what did they enjoy about the old you? Did they love your kindness, or did they love your availability? Did they love your patience, or did they love that you tolerated disrespect? Did they love your softness, or did they love that you never said no? When you grow, some people do not grieve losing you. They grieve losing control over you. Let that truth enter deeply. Not everyone who complains about your change misses your soul. Some miss your obedience. Some miss the version of you that explained every decision, apologized for every boundary, and carried every burden quietly. When that version disappears, they call you difficult. But maybe you are not difficult. Maybe you are finally disciplined. The disciplined person does not spend energy in every direction. He knows his life force is sacred. He understands that attention is a form of food. Whatever you feed grows. If you feed drama with your explanations, drama grows. If you feed gossip with your reaction, gossip grows. If you feed doubt with your panic, doubt grows. But if you feed silence, focus, and action, your purpose grows. The world is loud. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone wants a reaction. Everyone wants to pull you into their emotional weather. But a person on the path must guard his inner temple. You cannot let every voice walk inside with dirty feet. You cannot let every criticism sit at the altar of your mind. You cannot let every misunderstanding become your emergency. Ask yourself before you speak, is this conversation worthy of my energy? Is this person seeking truth or seeking power over me? Will my explanation create understanding, or will it only begin another circle of defense? Am I speaking from clarity, or am I speaking from fear? The answer to these questions will save you from many unnecessary battles. There are battles that you win and still lose yourself. You prove your point, but your heart becomes heavy. You win the argument, but you lose sleep. You silence the other person, but you awaken anger inside yourself. Is this victory? No. This is expensive defeat wearing the mask of success. A wise person does not enter every fight. A wise person knows that some doors lead only to smoke. The ego wants the last word. The soul wants peace. The ego wants to be seen as right. The soul wants to remain clean. The ego wants to correct every false story. The soul knows that truth does not die because someone refuses to see it. Which one will lead your life? When you are tempted to explain, feel your body. Notice the tightness in your chest. Notice the heat in your face. Notice how quickly your mind begins to prepare a defense. This is the old pattern. It was built from fear, from rejection, from moments when you were made to feel that your truth did not matter unless someone approved it. But you are not that powerless version anymore. You can pause, you can breathe, you can choose. The pause is where freedom begins. Between the accusation and your answer, pause. Between the insult and your reaction, pause. Between the demand and your explanation, pause. In that pause, you reclaim your throne. Without the pause, you are a puppet of impulse. With the pause, you become master of yourself. Some of you have explained the same wound for years. You explained why you were hurt. You explained why the behavior was not okay. You explained why you needed respect. You explained calmly, emotionally, patiently. Still nothing changed. Understand this clearly. If someone keeps hurting you after you have already spoken, the problem is not lack of explanation. The problem is lack of respect. More words will not teach respect to someone who benefits from your silence about their disrespect. More tears will not soften a heart that enjoys your confusion. More evidence will not convince a person whose identity depends on making you wrong. At that point, the teaching is no longer to explain better. The teaching is to step back. Distance is sometimes the final language of self-respect. Not revenge, not hatred, distance. The body moves away from what burns it. The soul must learn to do the same. You do not need to shout when you leave the fire. You simply stop standing in it. Do not confuse silence with weakness. A weak silence comes from fear. A strong silence comes from clarity. A weak silence says, I cannot speak because I am afraid. A strong silence says, I have spoken enough and now my peace will speak for me. Know the difference, train the difference. There is also a silence that heals. When you stop explaining, you finally hear yourself. You hear the tiredness you ignored. You hear the anger you covered with politeness. You hear the grief beneath your need to be understood. You hear the small voice inside saying, I do not want to keep proving my worth. Listen to that voice. It is not weakness. It is your spirit asking to come home. Many people are strangers to themselves because they are busy managing how others see them. They check every face. They measure every tone. They rewrite every message. They soften every truth. They make themselves smaller so others can remain comfortable. And then they wonder why they feel empty. They have spent their life outside their own body, living in the minds of others. Come back to your body, come back to your breath, come back to the present moment. Put your hand on your heart and ask what is true here. Not what will make them like me, not what will make them stop judging, not what will keep the peace outside while war continues inside. Ask what is true. Truth is often simple. It does not need 1,000 decorations. I cannot do this. This does not work for me. I need space. I have made my decision. I do not wish to discuss this further. These sentences may feel frightening if you have lived as a people pleaser, but they are medicine. They are the sound of your spine returning. At first, people may resist your simplicity. They were used to your long explanations. They were used to entering every room of your mind. They were used to your guilt. When you become clear, they may say you are cold. When you become calm, they may say you do not care. When you stop defending, they may say you have no answer. Let them say it. A person who needs to misunderstand your peace was never the guardian of your truth. Do not let false guilt drag you back into old chains. Guilt will come. It will whisper, you are being rude. You are hurting them. You owe them more. But examine it. Are you truly being cruel, or are you simply not abandoning yourself? Did you truly do harm, or did you disappoint someone who expected control? Not all guilt is wisdom. Some guilt is conditioning. You may have been taught that love means explaining everything. You may have been taught that saying no is disrespect. You may have been taught that your feelings are valid only after someone else approves them. But childhood lessons are not always life truths. Some lessons were survival tools. They helped you endure. But what helped you survive may now prevent you from living. Release the old training. You do not need to over-explain to be loved. You do not need to be endlessly available to be kind. You do not need to keep proving your heart to people who keep doubting it. You do not need to offer your peace as payment for acceptance. A person who truly respects you will not require your self-betrayal. They may not agree with you, but they will not demand that you destroy yourself to make them comfortable. They may feel disappointed, but they will not weaponize that disappointment. They may ask for clarity, but they will not turn your answer into a battlefield. When someone loves control more than truth, your explanation becomes fuel. When someone loves truth more than control, your explanation becomes a bridge. Learn which is which. This is the art of wise speech. It is not about speaking less all the time. It is about speaking with purpose. Words are powerful. Do not scatter them like dust. Speak when words serve understanding. Speak when words protect the innocent. Speak when words repair what is broken. Speak when words are aligned with truth. But when words only feed ego, fear, or chaos, let silence be your teacher. In martial practice, movement without awareness wastes strength. The same is true with speech. Many people throw words like untrained strikes. They react, defend, attack, apologize, explain, repeat. Afterward, they are exhausted and nothing has changed. A trained person does not waste movement. A trained person waits, observes, and acts only when action is necessary. Train your speech like this. Before you answer, breathe. Before you defend, ask why. Before you send the long message, read your own heart. Are you trying to create peace, or are you trying to escape discomfort? Are you trying to be honest, or are you trying to be liked? Are you explaining because it is needed, or because you fear being misunderstood? Fear of being misunderstood is a cage with invisible bars. You cannot see the bars, but you feel them every time you choose silence when truth is needed, and explanation when silence is needed. You feel them when you cannot rest until someone approves you. You feel them when a stranger's comment ruins your whole day. You feel them when your worth rises and falls with other people's moods. Break the cage slowly, not with anger, with practice. The next time someone misunderstands a small thing, do not rush to correct it. Let the discomfort pass through you. The next time someone judges your boundary, do not write a speech. Say one sentence and stop. The next time someone tries to pull you into an old argument, do not enter. Bow inwardly to the lesson and walk away. Freedom is built by repetition. One calm choice, one quiet refusal, one breath before reaction, one boundary kept under pressure, one moment where you choose dignity over defense. This is how a new self is formed. You may ask, what if they leave? Then let them leave. If someone can only stay when you explain, apologize, and shrink, then their presence was not love. It was a contract where you paid with your peace. Let that contract end. Empty space may feel lonely at first, but it is also where new strength enters. Do not fear loneliness on the path of self-respect. Sometimes the crowd leaves because the new version of you no longer entertains them. Sometimes silence surrounds you because your spirit is being cleansed of false connections. The forest is quiet, yet life is everywhere. Quiet does not mean empty. Quiet can mean sacred. Use that quiet to build. Build your discipline, build your body, build your work, build your prayer, build your mind, build your ability to sit with discomfort without running toward validation. Every moment you do not explain unnecessarily is energy returned to your purpose. Imagine how much strength you have lost in conversations that changed nothing. Imagine how many hours you spent replaying words, defending intentions, correcting rumors, trying to prove you are not the villain. Now imagine all that energy flowing back into your life, into your health, into your dream, into your craft, into your peace. This is why silence can be a revolution. Your life itself must become the explanation, not your mouth, your life. Let your consistency speak, let your discipline speak, let your character speak, let your patience speak, let your results speak, let your calm speak, let your refusal to become bitter speak. Words can be denied, presence cannot be faked for long. When people accuse you unfairly, stay close to your conduct. Ask, am I living in a way I can respect? Am I honest when no one sees? Am I kind without being weak? Am I firm without being cruel? Am I correcting my mistakes? Am I becoming more peaceful, more disciplined, more awake? If yes, then continue. Your path does not need to be interrupted by every voice from the roadside. Do not spend your life trying to look innocent. Live sincerely. Innocence is often an image we protect. Sincerity is a way we move. Innocence says, please do not blame me. Sincerity says, I will do what is right even if blame comes. This is stronger. This cannot be taken by gossip. There will always be people who create stories about you. When you are quiet, they create a story. When you speak, they create a story. When you give, they create a story. When you stop giving, they create a story. If stories will be created anyway, choose to live the one that is true in your own heart. A dog may bark at the moon, but the moon does not climb down to explain its light. Remember this image. Keep it with you when you are tempted to answer every barking voice. The moon remains, the night passes, the barking fades, light continues. You are allowed to continue. You are allowed to move without proving every step. You are allowed to protect your inner world. You are allowed to say less. You are allowed to disappoint people who expected access to every part of you. You are allowed to be misunderstood while remaining pure in your intention. This does not mean you become hard. A hard heart is not wisdom. A hard heart is another kind of wound. Stay soft, but not exposed to every hand. Stay kind, but not available to every demand. Stay open, but not without gates. The strongest temple has doors. Doors are not hatred. Doors are protection. Soft heart, strong gate, clear mind, steady breath. This is the way. When someone says, explain yourself, listen to the energy behind the words. If there is love, answer with humility. If there is duty, answer with clarity. If there is confusion, answer with patience. But if there is entitlement, disrespect, manipulation, or hunger for conflict, do not offer your spirit as food. You do not owe the deepest parts of yourself to people who approach you with dirty hands. You do not owe your history to someone who only wants ammunition. You do not owe your pain to someone who calls your wounds dramatic. You do not owe your peace to someone who keeps disturbing it. There is power in saying, I understand that you see it differently. There is power in saying, I have already made my decision. There is power in saying, I am not discussing this again. There is power in saying nothing at all and letting your calm be the boundary. Do not underestimate calm. Calm can be sharper than anger. Anger often shows where you are wounded. Calm shows where you are free. When you can remain calm under accusation, you have taken back power that once lived in other people's hands. The test will come when the accusation feels unfair. Anyone can be silent when nothing touches the ego. The real training begins when someone says the thing that hurts, the thing that is false, the thing that makes your chest burn. In that moment, the old self will rise. It will say, defend, prove, attack, explain. Your task is not to destroy the old self. Your task is to guide it. Say within yourself, I see you. I know you want protection, but we are not going to lose our peace for this. We are not going to hand our center to someone else's confusion. We are going to respond from dignity or not respond at all. This inner conversation is powerful. Most people try to control others before they have learned to guide themselves. But the true warrior first trains the inner army, the fear, the anger, the sadness, the ego, the wounded child, the need for approval. When these are trained, the outer world loses much of its power. You cannot stop every judgment, but you can stop worshiping it. Breathe, stand still, and let your calm become the answer. Keep walking, never turn back for old noise.